Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Nasir Soft. This is the second video of the tutorial series of web developing with PHP and MySQL, and in this video we will talk about some basics of web developing and setting up the environment. So first, what is HTTP? HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It is the communication between client computers and web servers is done by sending HTTP request and receiving HTTP response. We will see it how it communicates in more detail later. So when we talk about the web developing, a term that is most used, that is what is WWW, that is World Wide Web Communication. The World Wide Web is about communication between web clients and web servers. Clients are often browsers, that is Google Chrome, Edge, Safari and so on, but they can be any type of program or device. So when we talk about the clients in web developing, the clients means your browser or any type of program or device, okay? And the servers are the most often computers in the cloud, okay? So when we talk about the servers, so it refers to the computer in the cloud or in the basically internet, okay? So this is the web client, okay? That is basically a browser inside the computer, okay? And the cloud mean the internet, and the web server is inside the cloud, that is a computer that is connected through internet, okay? So that is web server. So how HTTP request and response works? So first of all, the communication between client and server is done by request and response. So we see how the HTTP request to the web server, and the web server process the request and sends the response back to the client, okay, as an output. So how it is work? So first, a client is a browser and it sends an HTTP request to the web. For example, if I talk about any website, when we hit, for example, www.nasirsoft.com, so what actually works when we hit the URL? Okay, so first the client browser sends an HTTP request to the web server, okay? So for example, this is the client browser, and when I press or enter the URL of the website, then the browser sends the HTTP request to the internet to the web server, okay? So first the web server receives the HTTP request, okay? So a web server receives the request, and after that this web server runs an application to process the request, okay? For example, if the client sends a request to the web server and web server receive it and process it, do some operations for that request, and in a response it sends back to the internet the response to the client, okay? So in fourth step, the server returns the HTTP response, that is output, to the browser that the client wants, okay? And then the client receives the response and this circle completes, okay? So hope you will understand how HTTP request and response works. This is the very basics, and later we will go in more detail. So it is very simple. First the client sends the HTTP request to the web server receives the client request, and what clients want, it processes the request, and as an output it sends back the HTTP response to the client, and client receive the HTTP response, and so this flow works, okay? So the client browser receives the response, and so this circle completes. So what is web server? A web server is a software or hardware that uses HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol, and other protocols to respond to client requests made over the World Wide Web. Okay. Web servers software controls how a user access hosted files. So the operation of web servers includes a software control how a user access hosted files. It is accessed through the domain names, for example abc.com or website, and ensure the delivery of the site content to the requesting user. Okay. As hardware, the other function of web server is a hardware. First is a software and a hardware. A web server is a computer that holds web server software and other files related to the website, such as HTML, documents, images, JavaScript files, etc. Web server hardware is connecting to the internet and allows data to be exchanged with other connected devices. The web server process is an example of the client server model, and the client server model is very simple. A client requests to the server for some query. The server receives the client request and process it and send back the response to the client. Okay, so this model is a client server model. All computers that host websites must have web server software. Leading web servers include Apache, Microsoft's Internet Information Server (IIS), Nginx, okay, and many more. A local server is a server that is hosted locally on your machine or local computer. With the help of a local server, you can test your website as many times you want before updating it to the web server. It saves your time as well as it is easy to use. Xampp, Wamp, Lamp, Mamp are local servers that are mainly used while developing PHP websites. The major difference between Xampp, Wamp, Lamp and Mamp is in terms of its operating system. For example, Xampp is for all operating systems: Apache, MySQL, PHP, Perl, where XOS means it can be used on any operating systems. Wamp is only for the Windows. Lamp is for Linux operating system, and Mamp is for Mac operating systems. So in this tutorial, I prefer the Xampp. Basically, Xampp is for all operating system. Okay. So in the next slide, we download and install the Xampp local server, and I will show you how to download, install and set up the Wamp server in your local computers. Okay, so let's download and install the Xampp. Okay, so to download the Xampp, go to the browser and here write download Xampp and enter. And inside the Google, when we write download Xampp, the first page, that is apachefriends.org, and open it. Okay, or manually you can go to the download section inside the apachefriend.org, and here you will see that for Windows, my operating system is Windows and that is 64-bit, so you can download it according to your operating system, and it includes the PHP latest one, that is 7.227. okay, so and the latest is 7.3, this one, and the latest, so I downloaded the latest with latest PHP version, that is 7.42. okay, so just press on the download, or if you have a Linux environment system, then you can download here this one, and up to for Windows Mac, you can download from here. Okay, so So click on this one, download it. When I click on the download button, then after some seconds the downloading is start. So it's based on your internet speed, it will take some time. So let him complete, and after that we will install it. Downloading is completed. So now let's start install it. Click on the downloaded this .exe file, and yes, important because an activated user account. Okay, just press OK, and the welcome screen of the Xampp appears. Click on the next button, and by default I just press the yes. If you want some custom installation, then you can choose your own preference. Click on the next, and I will install inside my C. If you want to install in another directory, then you can press this folder icon and change your hierarchy. So I just install it in default, that is C hierarchy. Okay, press the yes. After that, yes, and it open the website. Just ignore it. Again, open that Xampp setup file and click on the next button, and now the installation started. It will take some time to install the Xampp inside your computer, that is your local computer. Now the installation completed. Click on the finish button, then it will launch the Xampp. So by default I choose the language of United States, English. Okay, click on the save button, and after that it will launch the Xampp configuration file. Okay, so here just press on the Apache and start this service. It shows me the error that this .dil file is missing. So first we solve this problem and then press OK. So the problem solution is very simple. Go to your install Xampp folder, and inside the PHP folder just copy that .dll file and paste inside the Apache bin folder. Okay, so go to your Xampp and PHP folder, and here search that file. This one, copy the file and paste inside your Apache bin folder. And inside the Apache, this is the bin folder, and here paste. And now again press OK. Then it will start the Apache service successfully. Okay, so Apache service is started. Now MySQL server service should be start by pressing the start button in front of the MySQL. So the both Apache and MySQL is working successfully now. Now we understand what is the structure of the Xampp folder, okay, or the folder hierarchy. So inside the Xampp there are many folders that includes PHP folder and so on. So when we create a project, then we inside the htdocs folder we create a project. Okay, so this is the htdocs folder. So when we talk about the Wamp, then inside the Wamp the folder is www, where we create our project, but I am using the Xampp. So inside the Xampp, inside the htdocs folder, here I create a project and run it. Okay, in order to check whether the Xampp installs successfully or it is working or not, just go to your browser and here press localhost. When you press the localhost, then it goes to the dashboard of the Xampp. It means that Xampp is installed successfully, and when I go to the PHP info tab, then it shows me this PHP is 742 that installed successfully. So now my local system is ready for deploying the project or create a or working with PHP and MySQL. Okay, so first I am using the Dreamweaver as an editor. Okay, you can choose your best editor as you want. Okay, so first I create a new PHP program, or I write a PHP program, okay, inside my Xampp, and I save the file inside the htdocs folder. So first I create a new file inside, okay, and the file is PHP, and for example inside the file there is a PHP tag, the PHP start tag and PHP end tag, and inside this one the message that is hello world. Hello world, that is our first basic program. Okay, save the file and save the file inside your Xampp htdocs folder and named it, for example, Nasir soft, and save. Then .php extension is automatically appended at the last of the folder, file. Okay, and go to your browser now and just write the localhost, and after the localhost is automatically goes inside the htdocs. Okay, and here write that PHP file, that is Nasir soft, and the extension that is PHP. Press enter, and you see that it shows me the message that is hello world. So our PHP is successfully installed in our local server. Now we will check the database. Okay, so to checking the database, go to your browser and here write PHP myadmin, and before that the localhost. Then you see that it shows us the PHP myadmin and the by default the database. Okay, so here we can create a new database or new table. In later tutorial series we will create a database, and I will show you how we can create a database and how inside the database we can create tables and insert the data inside the table and play with the data, like through select, update, delete, or so on operations. So the one basic thing is that to install the PHP and MySQL in your local server, and the installation is successfully done. Okay, so this is the basically a dashboard for the databases, and when I go to the database tag, then you will see that here I can create a new database. For example, I create a new database that is my database. Okay, I name it my database and create it by default, and in left side you see that my database is created, and inside the my database now I create a new tables. First table is, for example, the student, and the number of columns is 5 of the student. When I press the go icon, then you will see that it shows me that it just named the 5 columns which I mentioned. The student table have 5 columns. Okay, so on. So this is very vast, don't worry. I will show you in later tutorial series step by step how to create a database and how to create a table and how to create a column inside the table and so on. Okay, so the basic is we successfully install the MySQL and PHP, and now we can work with the web developing project. So one more thing, that is the dashboard for MySQL, and you can also download a client that is SQLyog. Okay, SQLyog. And when you download the SQLyog, basically it is the client for PHP MyAdmin. For some it has a good graphical user interface and many more. Okay, so I show you, I already install it. You can download it by your own, okay, and install it. So I have installed, I just show you the SQLyog, and when I open it, SQLyog, okay, so you see that here in left side my databases which I create is showing me, that is my database. Okay, and inside this one I can create and run queries. It is very user friendly environment. Okay, so in later I prefer you download the SQLyog as in your MySQL client. Okay, if you not want to download or install it, you can also work in this user interface as well, but this is some complex, and the SQLyog user interface is very user friendly. Okay, so I prefer to use SQLyog as an client. Okay, so if you want to download and install SQLyog, it is good for you. Okay, so in this video we learn about the basic of web developing, the HTTP protocol, what is web servers, and then we install the Xampp. Okay, and start the Apache and MySQL services, and after that we deploy our PHP project basic program, that is hello world, inside our htdocs and run that program. Okay, and then we see how the databases works in and connected to the PHP, and how to check the correctly MySQL is installed inside your local project or not. So in next video we will start from here. So that's all for this time. Don't forget to subscribe my channel for more informative videos. So to be up to date, just press the bell icon. Thanks for watching. Stay blessed. Have a nice day.